Welcome back to part two of uh, doing the deed of writing this song. All right, so I'm an old fashioned guy. I like to hold her hand and slow dance. I believe there's still a place for romance. I'm an old fashioned guy. I like to hold her hands. I like to buy her flowers and ask her to slow dance. And ask her for a dance. For the dance. Either way could work. And ask her for a dance. The dance. I'm going to leave that. I believe there's still a place. A place for romance. Romance. Don't need that again. Now, the next thing I want to do is get into hopeless romantic. We don't need to keep that. Now, it's dangerously close to being long winded at this point, if I'm not already there. So, and I'll know more once the song gets created. Now I'm having iced coffee. Mm. Literal iced coffee. I let it freeze for a while. Um, some may say that I'm autistic, but I think I'm a hopeless romantic. Nah, I don't think that would work. Sometimes I just feel like doing crazy lyrics. Um, um, I say damn because I have this pain in my left hand that has been there for maybe 2.5 weeks and it won't go away. It's not debilitating, but it's not fun. Some kind of a ache or pain, and I don't think it's arthritis or anything. It's more like a muscle thing. Anyway, TMI. So what I need to do, I put some beautiful deep tissue liquid on there. Um, it's romance. Some may say I'm just a statistic. I'm just thinking of words that might rhyme with hopeless romantic. Romantic, frantic. In a world, I'll change this possibly. In a world caught up with being so frantic. In a world so. In a world so frantic is beautiful. Like to slow down and be a hopeless romantic. That's good. See, part of what I want to do in all my art is actually uplift people and to give them sometimes food for thought, whether it just be instrumental music or otherwise. I like to actually uplift with my art. That is next to making money. Would like to be successful financially with all this, of course. But you could say underlying that would be the goal to uplift. Hold on. Sip time. In a world caught up with being so frantic, I mean, that I can change it later. Proud to call myself. Like, again, I might change it. I'm proud to say I'm a hopeless romantic. I could say I like to slow down and be romantic. The world caught up with being so frantic. I can come up with a better line than that, but world so embroiled in being frantic, or in a world that seems to be so frantic. In a world that seems to be so frantic is better. Like, dedicated to being so frantic. You could say that. I'll turn off my emails so they won't pop up here. You'd say, on a world bent on being so frantic. Better. That's better. A world that seems dedicated to being frantic. Too many syllables, but that I like that. A world that's turned into being so frantic. In a world, a way of making it worse would be just like in a society that is being very frantic. Like that's not bad if you're doing a paper on it, like a scientific paper or something. But if you're writing a song, you got to be. It doesn't work unless you're doing a comedy song and you're trying to be very loquacious, full of complicated lexiconic rhetoricness. In other words, fancy words and things. In a world bent on being so frantic, in a world that's like frantic on the daily, as the young people would say. A world that's turned so frantic. It's time to be romantic. I believe it's time to be romantic. In a world, this is an important line. This is a kind of a crux of the song, and you're hopefully inspiring people to be more old-fashioned and romantic. So it's important. And you're, as an artist, the responsibility of an artist. I mean, there's a responsibility on being on an assembly line, putting together spark plugs for cars, etc. But when you're doing art that goes out to the broad public, that can really inspire and change somebody's life potentially, it's very important to and do understand what's on one's shoulders if one becomes popular. I mean, the thing is, with my music so far, well, some of it became somewhat popular, a lot of my instrumental stuff, as healing ambient music. And then it got shut down by Pandora because the name I was using, healing ambient music, was too generic and too. It got people could search for those words, and my music would come up, and therefore, uh, you know, because my music would come up, I would get a lot of the plays when other healing ambient type music would not. Like, I think I was getting a lot of the business because of the name of my band, or my artist name. So they shut it down, and that I was making over $1,500 a month, which is a lot for an unknown. Now I'm not even. I'm barely making like I'm just like 10% of that or something. But anyway, in a world bent on being so frantic, I'm proud to say I'm a hopeless romantic. No, we don't want to get into hopeless romantic so quickly. Like, world seems to be. That's better. We're in a world turning more and more frantic. That seems to be so frantic. That's good for now. I prefer. I think there's a place for being romantic. I feel there's a place for being romantic. Let's just slow down and be romantic. Why not slow down? Cap, why not? So I say cap to get. I want to have everything capitalized at the beginning. I've been seeing lyrics like that, so that I'm sort of just copying what other people have done. I haven't gone into the. I don't understand the actual details of correctly formatting lyrics, but I've just been seeing that a lot. First line capitalized, last bit ellipsized, ellipsized. However you want to say that. I don't know if it's correct, but it looks good, and that's all that's important, right? No, just kidding. A world that seems to be so frantic. I feel there's a place for being romantic. Why not slow down and be romantic? Instrumental. Open parent, instrumental section, close parent, new paragraph. Now we're going to go into Hopeless Romantic and say it a bunch of times and end the song. I'm not going to, I could repeat one of these things and then end the song too, but really end the song. It's getting to be a little long-winded for a yacht rock song, you know. But it is what it is. This is what I'm doing. Like this is the payoff, the money shot, as it were. Uh, let's see. I hate to just. I know you guys have to wade through this. Part of the reason I'm recording is to prove that I'm not using AI to create these lyrics. So if I stop it, we don't know for sure, right? Which I'm not, but you just have to believe me. And I may be the only person to see this video, so that wouldn't matter. But anyway, let's see. What if Midnight Regatta Project took off? It'd be so cool if a lot of people really like this stuff and like were telling other people about it, and it just caught fire, became viral. Then all these videos would be way more important, and more people would want to see them. Uh, uh, Without at risk of being cryptic, let's just say I'm a hopeless romantic. It doesn't quite rhyme. That's a soft rhyme, I think. Uh, uh, See, recording does distract me. It's like somebody right up in your face watching you eat or something like that, you know? It's like, okay. Um, Slow down, read romantic. In a world that seems to be so frantic, I feel there's a place. Why not slow down and be romantic? No, I just realized it could work. You could say something, I'm a hopeless romantic, hopeless romantic, hopeless romantic. Or I could just not have, well, romance is, romantic is the name of the song, so yeah. Like da 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 da, na 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 na, I'm a hopeless romantic, you know. You know. Like I'm not ashamed to say, I'm not ashamed, da 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 da, Atlantic from the, you know, just a guy from the ocean Atlantic. Atlantic would be a great romantic. Atlantic. Atlantic would be good. Like as I stare out at the beautiful Atlantic from my New York condo, I look out at the Atlantic. Actually, that's not so horrible. From from this bench on the boardwalk, looking out at the romantic, the Atlantic. Because he's obviously now in New Jersey at like Atlantic City. Bench on the boardwalk. I like the bees and the bee and the bee is good. Kind of an alliteration. I think that's what, looking out at the Atlantic. I finally realized, ellipsis, new line, I'm a hopeless romantic. Ellipsis. I'm a hopeless romantic. Ellipsis. I'm not ashamed to say, ellipsis, that I'm not gay. Just kidding. Not ashamed to say. On this early fall day. It's a little corny, etc. Again, the amazing Suno can make it sound like it's a halfway decent lyric if I said that. I'm not ashamed to say on this September day, on this April day, on this April day doesn't work. On this September day kind of works. I'm just a boy who is not goy. No, that wouldn't work. On this late September day, ellipsis. I don't know about that, but I'm putting it in there as a filler for now anyway. I'm a hopeless romantic. Ellipsis. A hopeless romantic. Ellipsis. Oh, wow. Just thought of another great line. Good. This is that's funny. Lion. Yeah, that's fine. There is, but there, I realize there is hope for this hopeless romantic. That's a good line. I bet somebody has probably used that before. Maybe even a popular song that I don't remember right now. There is hope for this hopeless romantic. That's great. I'll figure that in somewhere. That is the good line. If if I say so myself. That ties the song together, I think. I realized. Oh, from this message. In a frantic world where I was at the end of my rope, I realized that there is hope for this hopeless romantic. That's not bad. Like, but that's too dire. That's too dour or depressing. Climb the rope. Yeah, at the end of, if you're at the end of your rope, there's always hope for a hopeless romantic. Wow. That's not bad, but I don't want to end, I don't want to bring any kind of thoughts of suicide or anything like that. In fact, when you say it or spell it out in like YouTube, you have to like use asterisks. Rape also RAPE. Yeah, you can't. If you could be demonetized, at least that video, if you use the word in a video. Fascinating. So we don't want to even go there, but yeah, they say in prison, don't drop the soap. But we all know that there is hope for this hopeless romantic. That's funny. I can't use that, but it'd be really funny. But I'll figure something out. Looking out at the Atlantic, I finally realize. Real, realize. It's better. See, that happens. You know, I'm a hopeless romantic. I think here we got to totally change this to something that rhymes with hope. Uh, I'm no longer going to sit and mope. Ellipsis. I realize that there is hope. Ellipsis. For this hopeless romantic. Ellipsis. New line. No, comma, I'm no longer going to sit and mope. Ellipsis. The light, comma, it shines. Ellipsis. New line. There definitely is hope. Ellipsis. For this hopeless romantic. Ellipsis. This hopeless romantic. Ellipsis. I'm a hopeless romantic. Ellipsis. Hopeless romantic. Ellipsis. There is hope. Ellipsis. For this hopeless romantic. Ellipsis. Hopeless romantic. Ellipsis. Hopeless romantic. Ellipsis. Yeah, I think there's too many words in this song. It's way too long. But that's the good thing is you flesh it out. First, you come up with what could be a whole song, and then you go through and fix it. But the thing with the Suno, I'm going to save that just in case it crashes. Once you save it, unless your hard drive crashes, you can always recover the document if it crashed, the computer shut down or the program, Word sometimes, very rarely, but it will crash. Now, before I do anything else, because it's, well, not free, I'm paying about a whole year of premium, which is the top tier level on Suno for like 170, but they had a Black Friday sale and I decided to do it. All right, we're going to go to Suno and put it in and we'll see what happens. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm uploading audio, even though it's very different. I'm using audio of music I created before. So at least we can say that I am not totally just letting AI create everything totally from scratch. And of course, the lyrics are mine, but for better or for worse. And in this case, probably worse. It's probably going to be way too long a song. Another thing I can do is edit after the fact. All right, I'm going to put in the lyrics here. I've been basically using we go to advanced options for Midnight Regatta Project. I've been using male voice, and then sometimes there are background singers. So you can put it on auto and let it create lyrics, writes new lyrics for every new. But I don't want to have it. It might probably would write better lyrics, but then I'm not contributing, and I'm supposed to contribute. Now there's weirdness, which just the more you use that, especially when you get up into this, it just sounds it just doesn't work. Weirdness, I don't know if it really helps. I think they're going to probably change that someday to something else. I have a feeling. Style influence, I like 100%, which is, oh, it went away. So, smooth jazz, comma, yacht rock, comma, saxophone, etc., period. Very slow pace, comma, slow tempo, period. I've been liking the output better when I do that. We're almost out of this. So this has been almost an hour long journey here. Okay. So there we go. We have all the lyrics. And let's go ahead and generate it, and then I'll bring you back. Oh, audio influence, 100%. That's taking my original track, which is probably very droning new age. I'll have you take a listen to some of that. Let's see. Where is it? As you can hear, it doesn't sound anything like smooth jazz, but at least we're using my music as I'm feeding the AI my music and telling it to keep the audio influence to resemble your original audio. So it probably uses the same key or a couple of the same notes, but it's very different. Oh, we're already ready to. Okay, ready? Here we go. Let's play some of this. Oh, yeah.
I've been told I'm an old soul.
I'm liking it so far.
I've been told I've been playing a role. I've been playing a role, trying to play the modern man, trying to play the modern man. But now it's time to take a stand. Now is the time to make my stand.
Okay, we're just about out of time for this part 2. I'll do a part 3, and just to let you know, I kind of want to go into this part now, but we'll see. All right, that's it for part 2. Thank you for watching. We'll be on to part 3 soon.